left off that Herzog seemed to have disqualified the cuttlefish, the radzinas. And so I called up a number of Hasidim from Radzin who were supposed to know about the tchelis, a couple in Eretz Yisrael, some in Lakewood, and I was able to get through to one person, and he told me, I don't know if it's so satisfying, but he told me a couple of interesting things. Told me left off that Herzog seemed to have disqualified the cuttlefish, the radzinas. And so I called up a number of Hasidim from Radzin who were supposed to know about the tchelis, a couple in Eretz Yisrael, some in Lakewood, and I was able to get through to one person, and he told me, I don't know if it's so satisfying, but he told me a couple of interesting things. Told me that there's a very, I guess, bashert for the Radziners, it's a very historical irony that happened. During the Milchama, the Rebbe was the only one who knew how to die, and he was killed. But before the Milchama, as the Milchama was breaking out, he realized, and he told over the secret of how to die, the tchelis, the cuttlefish, told it to 10 Hasidim. But they also died. They were murdered, they were killed. And so there was no zeicher bichlal left after the Milchama as to exactly how the process, how to go and get the dye from the cuttlefish. The only thing they knew was that it was a cuttlefish, and they knew which one of the 19 subspecies of the cuttlefish it was that the Rebbe chose. But more than that, they didn't know. And when they came from Eretz Yisrael, those that survived, they got together and they had a meeting and they decided that they're going to reproduce the tchelis, and they hired a chemist to help them out. They told them that it's the cuttlefish and they got to get this color, and they worked together and they were able to figure out a way how to get it. However, they knew that that was not the way that the original Balat Tchelis did it. And so, for the most part, many of the Radziner Hasidim did not go along with the new Mahalach. Again, there were certain shverkeiten on the first one, but to just make it a different way, that they weren't willing to do. But they continued doing it like that. Rabbi Herzog's father was Rabbi Yoel Herzog. He was a Rav in Leeds, England, in the time of the Balat Tchelis. And after the Balat Tchelis was Nifter, his son, the Tiferes Yosef, was trying to promote their Tchelis, and he was sending it to all different Rabbanim. And this Rabbi Yoel got a package, he got a few samples of it, and it intrigued him, and he started looking into the Indian of Tchelis. And since the Rebbe were looking for as much support as they could get, then they would love to have other Rabbanim's approval on his Tchelis. So they started a correspondence with Rabbi Yoel Herzog. And at one point, Rabbi Yoel Herzog writes to him, he says, look, the cuttlefish is black, you get blue out of it, could you explain me exactly what the process is? And the letter that was, when he received the letter, the Rebbe happened to be out of town then. Maybe he would never have sent back the site. But the head dyer, forget his name, got the letter, and the Rebbe had given him permission to answer tshuvas, to answer letters when it came to the negeh, to the dyeing of the tchelis. And he wrote him back basically exactly how to do the process and how to get from the cuttlefish to get it into tchelis. Rabbi Herzog continued his correspondence later years with the next Rebbe, and when he came to Eretz Yisrael, Seif Yamav, he started writing articles in a publication called Hahoid, Rabbi Herzog. And the Hasidim then, the Radziner Hasidim, apparently understood from certain things in these writings, even though he was basically writing against the Radziner, but Lamaisa, they noticed that there were certain points and facts and information that he had, that apparently he had the mahalach of how to do it. And so they went over to him and they asked him if he's able to give them that letter that they had from his father. He wasn't clear, this person told me, if Rab Herzog himself gave it, or after he was nifter, they were able to get it out of the radzin. But they did get it, and they worked together, because it seems it wasn't 100% clear even after that. And they worked with chemists, and they were able to restore it back to what they feel was exactly the way the radzin or the balatchelis himself died the tchelis. So, in a certain irony, Rabbi Herzog himself felt he conclusively discredited the tchelis of the radzin, but at the same time, he rescued the process for them. Without him, it would have been totally forgotten, and through him, they were able to continue it. I asked him as far as the kashas and all the labs and everything that was sent back that it's not real blue. So he told me that there's 3 tirutzim that he's aware of. And the first teretz he says is that no one tried out, for some reason, he said no one tried to figure out if it's true, if those labs were accurate, even though there were 3 of them. I said, does that mean to say is that they all wrote back the same thing and they were all wrong? Or does it mean that Rabbi Herzog maybe misunderstood them? Or he said he's more knighted to that. He said one was written in German, one was written in French, even though Rabbi Herzog was fluent in those languages. He said maybe there was a misunderstanding. Befrat, he says, at that time when the letters were sent, Prussian blue was a relatively new color. It was a new synthetic color. They weren't so aware about everything about it, and so he says it could be they made a mistake. There is for sure an absolute mistake in the letter that the first Grace chemist wrote him. It will be nagea for the Mirux Trunculus. He asked him a kasha v'derech agav with the Mirux Trunculus, and he sent them back something which obviously influenced Reb Herzog because of it, but it was wrong. So he says that that's number one. He says it could be that it was wrong, and you couldn't do it. In his lashon is if you take a salami, maybe it wouldn't turn blue. The second thing he told me is that even if they are right, and that it's Prussian blue, and it's all synthetic, and color has nothing to do with the dam of the cuttlefish, he said nonetheless it's yitachin that the Rebbeinu Shalom wanted us to get the chilazin, and there was simonim for the chilazin, and we know what the chazal bring down what the chilazin, they knew what the chilazin was in the time of chazal. So even though it's yitachin that the color on the bag, it has nothing to do with the cuttlefish itself. It has all to do with the chemicals and the chemical reaction that you're producing with it. Could be that far the Rebbeinu Shalom wanted us that even though you could do it with other bloods, you could do it with ox blood, but Lamaisis he wanted us to do it with the tchelis, and this is the tchelis. Third answer that he said was that he spoke to not long ago actually, and he spoke to the head dyer in Radzin, who was the Radziner Rebbe, today's Radziner Rebbe's middle son, Rabbi Itche Englard, and he told him that he believes, although I don't know why he didn't check it out, maybe he did check it out, that's why he believes it. He said he doesn't know if it's for sure confirmed, but he believes that although they today go to exactly the way the Rebbe did it, and they put in a tremendous amount of iron, and Enoch maybe that iron would turn any single blood into blue, but Lamaisa is, he has reason to believe that even if you would put in kemat no iron, the cuttlefish would make it blue anyways. And even though they do it with a tremendous amount of iron, which would turn anything into blue, but Lamaisa is, cuttlefish has something maybe special, and even if you would put in a very minimal amount of iron, it would also turn blue, and that wouldn't happen with any other fish. He says that's the way he has it. He's not sure. I don't know if that's so satisfying, all these tirutzim, but we'll leave it at that.
Hello, I want to add a point here to Rabbi Mordechai Hershfeld. He brings towards the end that what makes the techelis of the radzin blue is the amount of iron. And they claim, the opponents, the Mirux people, Mirux Trunculus people, that if you add so much iron, anything will turn blue. Now, there's a video that's been posted by a Rabbi Baron you'll find it on my playlist of techelis, and where he claims that this may not be a taina, because in the olden days all the pots were iron and they were polate, kamo shekatuv, shevach eitzim pito in Masechta Pesachim, that the pots put in the iron, and today everything is stainless steel. And he talks about this. You'll see it on the video by Rab Boron. You can find, I think it's called Torah's Moshe, his YouTube site, and you can find it there. Okay, thank you.